My name is Ethan Ward. I'm 41 years old, born and raised in Asheville, North Carolina. I run a small carpentry business, handcrafted furniture mostly. Quiet work, honest living. I've never been rich, never needed much. Just peace and loyalty. But loyalty is rare these days. The woman I married swore she believed in that too. Her name is Claire. We met at a charity event back in 2010. She was elegant with a hint of fire, a yoga instructor who quoted Rumi and lit up every room she entered. I felt fast. Too fast. And maybe that's the first warning sign I ignored. But the moment everything changed, the moment my world cracked in half, it didn't come with fireworks or screaming matches. No. It came in the form of a PDF attachment in an email. I was sitting in my truck, just finished up a client's kitchen cabinet install. The sun was setting, and I remember thinking about picking up flowers on the way home, because Claire had texted me earlier that day. Feeling aligned and grateful at the retreat dizzy, she wrote, followed by a heart emoji. Retreat. That's what she called it. A women's weekend retreat in Sedona. Some spiritual getaway she'd been excited about for weeks. I even gave her my blessing. Paid for her flight. Bought her a new set of travel yoga mats. So when I saw that email from my late uncle's lawyer with the subject line, "Final transfer, urgent estate notification," I had no reason to suspect anything until I opened the document. And there it was, clear as day. My entire inheritance transferred, sold, liquidated, gone. Not by me, not by accident, but by someone with full power of attorney, granted just 2 months earlier, with my signature forged. I remember staring at the screen, my pulse slow, my hands not shaking, not yet, just numb. Claire was gone for 4 days. She was supposed to come back Sunday night. But suddenly, everything in me knew. She wasn't on a retreat. She wasn't even alone. And she didn't know that I already knew. I was broke, betrayed, and blindsided. But what Claire didn't realize is that I had one move left, and I had already made it. I still remember the first time I saw Claire. She was standing barefoot in the middle of a park, balancing perfectly on one leg in the early morning sun. A friend of mine had dragged me to a local yoga in the park event. Said it'd loosen me up after a long work week. I wasn't interested in poses or deep breathing, but then I saw her. She was light, free, like the world had never gotten to her. We talked afterward about her dreams of opening a wellness studio, about how she hated small talk and loved deep questions. She asked me what I believed in, and I said, stability. She smiled like she was both amused and intrigued. 2 months later, we were inseparable. Claire didn't grow up like I did. Her parents were wanderers, always in search of something more spiritual, something higher. She had lived in India, Morocco, Sedona. I'd barely left North Carolina. But that difference, it didn't feel like a problem. It felt like balance. I brought her groundedness. She brought me color. When we got married in 2012, we were flat broke. I was just starting out with my furniture business, working out of a shed behind my dad's place. She was doing freelance yoga and crystal healing sessions. We didn't have money, but we had long morning walks, inside jokes, cold beers on the porch, and late-night dreams about the life we'd build together. I remember her favorite phrase back then. She'd say it during our lowest moments, when the bills piled up or I lost a client. "We're building roots, Ethan. Deep roots. So our future doesn't fall when the wind comes." And I believed her. I believed us. We struggled for years, but slowly things got better. My uncle, a quiet, reclusive man who never had kids of his own, left me part of his estate in his will, a few rental properties, and about $160,000 in savings. It didn't make us rich, but it gave us breathing room. Claire cried when I told her. Said it was the universe finally balancing things. We used a portion of it to pay off our debts. She suggested we put the rest into a joint future investment, maybe a retreat center one day, or a new home in the mountains. We didn't rush. We wanted to plan it right. At least, I thought we did. Looking back now, I can see the moments, small things that didn't make sense then, but scream in my memory now. Like how she started locking her phone, or how her yoga classes suddenly required overnight stays. How she stopped wanting to talk about the future, and only wanted to live in the now. One night, I came home late from a job and found her sitting in the dark, tears in her eyes. She said she felt disconnected and didn't know why. I held her for an hour, thinking maybe she was going through something, never guessing I was the reason for her distance. She still said, "I love you," every day. Still made green smoothies every morning. Still wore the necklace I gave her on our 3rd anniversary, the one with the compass pendant that meant, "We'll never get lost, no matter where life takes us." But now I wonder, was it all already gone? Was she already gone? Because 2 weeks before the retreat, she came to me with this light in her eyes and said, "Sedona, women's retreat, deep healing. I need to realign before I move into this next phase." I smiled, told her to go. She hugged me like she meant it. And I swear to God, in that moment, I still loved her more than I've loved anyone in this life. The first night of the retreat, she texted me a photo, some red rocks in Sedona, a circle of candles, and a caption that said, "Found my center again. Miss you, Crescent Moon." I smiled at the screen, replied with a heart, but something felt off. I can't explain it. Just this cold space in my chest that wouldn't leave. The next morning, I checked our shared bank account, just to see if the retreat charges had gone through. They had. But so had something else. A $4,300 wire transfer to a name I didn't recognize. J. Rollins. I froze. Claire and I had always agreed on one thing: full financial transparency. We weren't rich, and every dollar counted. So why would she send money to someone I'd never heard of? I waited a few hours before texting her about it. She didn't reply until midnight. "Oh, that. Just a booking thing. The retreat coordinator's assistant. Long story, don't worry, Dizzy." No punctuation. No apology. Just a brush-off. That wasn't like her. The next day, I started noticing other things. Her social media, normally full of retreat photos and yoga shots, was silent. She hadn't posted a single update since arriving. No group shots. No tags. No stories. I texted her, "Can you send me some pics of the group? Looks peaceful out there." She replied, "Phones aren't really allowed. Ceremony rules. We'll send when I can." That was the last message I got for 3 full days. When she came back, I drove to pick her up. She looked different. Lighter somehow, but also distant. Her hug felt practiced. Her suitcase was lighter too. She said she donated some clothes to a local women's shelter out there. I nodded, smiled, but something inside me had already shifted. We got home, and she went straight to the shower. Her phone buzzed while it sat on the table. Face down. Silent. I flipped it over. No, I didn't unlock it, not yet. I just looked. The name on the lock screen said, Jay's Sunrise Over Mountains. The same name from the wire transfer, Jay Rollins. My hands got cold. When she came out, wrapped in her robe, I asked about the retreat, what she learned, how she felt. She gave me vague answers. Something about sacred geometry and deep soul renewal. Then she said something that nearly knocked the wind out of me. I think I need to go again. Maybe for a month next time. They said I'm holding on to too many earthly patterns. A month? I asked, as calmly as I could. Claire, what exactly are you looking for out there that you don't have here? She paused, looked away, and then said, I'm not sure yet, but I'll know when I find it. That night, she slept facing the opposite wall. 2 days later, I noticed another charge on our account, $890, Venmoed to Jay Rollins. Again. This time, I didn't ask. I watched. I listened. I waited. Over the next week, I kept mental notes. She kept her phone on silent, always. She started going for solo meditations at odd hours. She logged out of our shared iPad. She stopped wearing her wedding ring during yoga. One night, I came into the living room and saw her quickly close her laptop. Email, she said, smiling. Just checking retreat updates. But her eyes, they didn't meet mine. The next morning, I got into the car to grab a wrench I'd left in the glove box. That's when I saw her journal on the passenger seat. Now let me be clear. I never believed in violating someone's privacy. But something inside me, maybe survival instinct, maybe desperation, made my hand move before my mind could stop it. I opened the journal. And right there on the second page, written in smooth, curved handwriting, was this. He said I deserve a life without compromise, that I've been asleep for too long, that I'm meant for more than quiet nights and a loyal husband. God help me. I think I believe him. I closed the book. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, staring at the dashboard, as my whole marriage silently caught fire in my mind. That evening, I made dinner, cleaned the kitchen, told her good night with a kiss on the cheek. And she smiled, like nothing had happened. But something had happened. And from that moment forward, I was no longer her husband. I was her shadow. I stayed silent, but I started watching. And then one night, at exactly 2:07 a.m., her phone lit up, and what I saw made my blood run cold. 2:07 a.m. I don't know why I woke up. Maybe I heard a buzz, or maybe my body just knew something was wrong. The room was dark. Claire was sleeping next to me, facing the wall again. Her phone lit up. I glanced over. A message preview glowed across the screen. Jay's Sunrise Over Mountains. I can still feel your energy on me. Last night was unreal. Call when he's asleep. My breath caught. My heart didn't race. It slowed, like time had thinned out. I stared at that screen like it was a gun pointed at my chest. She shifted in bed. I gently rolled over and pretended to be asleep, but inside, my entire soul was screaming. The next morning, I got up early. I went for a drive. No music. No podcast. Just silence. I pulled into a gas station, parked, and stared at my hands gripping the wheel. They were trembling. I felt sick. Like my bones had gone cold. Like I was watching my life burn from behind glass. How do you even confront that? I wasn't ready. Not yet. So I waited. I started documenting everything. Quietly, methodically. Round pushpin every charge on our account. Round pushpin every late-night text she received. Round pushpin every lie she told. And then I made the hardest decision of my life. I called a divorce attorney. I wasn't planning to file yet. I just needed information. Options. Something to help me stay sane. The lawyer listened to everything I said. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "You need to protect yourself. Financially, emotionally, legally, especially if she's already siphoning money to someone else." It felt so surreal, like I was describing someone else's nightmare. That night, I got home and Claire was in the kitchen, barefoot, lighting incense like nothing had happened. She smiled, kissed me on the cheek, asked me how my day was. I wanted to scream, but I smiled back. It was fine. Over the next week, she got bolder. Left her phone lying around with no passcode now. Maybe she thought I wasn't suspicious anymore. Or maybe she wanted me to know. One evening, she went for a bath. Her phone buzzed. I picked it up. Jay's sunrise over mountains. Still thinking about that night under the stars. Your energy is unreal. Wish I could wake up next to you. Soon. I took a photo of the message. Saved it in a secret folder on my drive. I scrolled up through their conversation. Photos. Love notes. Plans. Mentions of me. Dismissive, cold. He called me the sleepwalker, she said. He doesn't see it coming. He still thinks I'm just on a spiritual path. I felt like I was drowning in my own living room. But the worst part? Somewhere deep in her words was the truth. I really didn't see it coming. Not because I was stupid, but because I trusted her. Because I believed that love meant faith, even when things were unclear. I was wrong. The next day, I opened a new bank account. Moved half our savings discreetly. Changed the passwords to every account she didn't know about. I started sleeping in the guest room. Said it was because I wasn't sleeping well. She didn't protest. In fact, she seemed relieved. That's when I realized the worst thing of all. She wasn't hiding anymore. Because in her mind, she had already left me. The moment I saw what was in that final message, I knew this wasn't just cheating. It was something darker. And I had to act before it was too late. She thought I was falling apart. She thought I was clueless, maybe even in denial. But I wasn't. I was building a case. Piece by piece, day by day. While she meditated with crystals and played pretend on her retreats, I was meeting with my lawyer every Thursday. We had a plan now. I had copies of every email she sent from our joint business account. How she was slowly siphoning funds into a new LLC under his name. Jay's. She never thought I'd check the back end of the business we'd built together. But I did. And I documented everything. Bank transfers. Conversations. The name of the lawyer she secretly hired in Oregon to prepare to move out and take the rest of the inheritance I received after my dad's death. Yes. The same inheritance my father had left for me and my future children. Not for her. Not for Jay. I didn't get angry. I got focused. While she thought I was healing, I was getting 3 key people on my side. A forensic accountant. A divorce attorney with a reputation for brutal settlements. And, this is important, a private investigator. Turns out, Jay wasn't just her lover. He had a record. 2 past lawsuits for fraud. 1 open warrant in Nevada. And yet, she was planning to funnel our entire shared assets into a new retreat center with him. I also pulled our home's deed. It was in both our names. But guess who paid 100% of the down payment? Me. My dad's inheritance. My lawyer smiled when she saw the file I brought in. "Let her think she's winning," she said. "We're going to set this up perfectly." The hardest part? Acting normal. Pretending I still believed her weekend retreats were about yoga and not sex in a cabin with her scam artist boyfriend. But I did it. I played the part so well. She even hugged me one night and said, "I'm so proud of how much you're growing emotionally." She had no idea. Meanwhile, I was making quiet moves. Froze all pending business investments. Moved the rest of my inheritance into a protected trust. Set up alerts on her financial activity. Installed a legal recording app on our shared Alexa device. Yup. That device in the kitchen she loved to talk to? Every word was recorded. Backed up. Stored securely. And one night, she said something that sealed it all. She was on the phone with Jay, speakerphone, standing in the kitchen, thinking I was asleep. She said, "Once it's done, he'll be so emotionally wrecked he won't even fight it. We'll walk away with everything, and I'll make him feel like it was his fault. Just like I planned." Those exact words. When she went to sleep, I played that clip 3 times. Just to let it sink in. This wasn't just betrayal. It wasn't even just theft. It was psychological warfare. And that's when the final piece clicked. I had to make sure this ended in one clean strike. Not loud. Not messy. But final. She thought I was healing. But I was building a trap. One she wouldn't see coming until it was already closed. It happened on a Tuesday morning. She was supposed to fly out for another retreat that afternoon. She had her favorite lavender luggage by the door. A playlist queued up. She even made a smoothie and asked if I wanted one before she left. I said, "Sure. Thanks." And then the doorbell rang. 2 uniformed officers. Calm. Polite. They handed her a packet of papers. "You've been served. Divorce. Full discovery. Immediate asset freeze." Her hand trembled. She looked at me, confused at first, then betrayed. "How? Why?" I didn't say anything. Just slid my phone across the counter. I'd already played the Alexa audio file for my attorney, the judge, and her lawyer the day before. Now I played it for her. That same sentence. "He'll be so emotionally wrecked he won't even fight it, just like I planned." She dropped the smoothie. Glass shattered across the kitchen tile. Jay? He didn't show up at the retreat. He couldn't. Because I tipped off the Nevada authorities about his outstanding warrant. He was arrested at the car rental counter in Oregon. My lawyer moved fast. Within 48 hours, we had a restraining order, a temporary freeze on her accounts, and full legal control over the house and business, thanks to the financial trail she left behind. She tried to play the victim in court. Tears. Denial. Gaslighting. "I was manipulated. I didn't know what I was doing." But the evidence spoke louder. The email trails. The bank transfers. The phone call. The retreat investment pitch deck with her signature. Every single piece stacked like bricks in a wall she couldn't climb over. Her own lawyer couldn't defend her anymore. The judge looked at her, not with anger, but with something colder. Disappointment. He awarded me full control of the business. 100% of the remaining inheritance. The house in my name. And a no-contact order from both her and Jay. She walked out of that courtroom looking like a ghost. No press. No public spectacle. Just silence and consequences. I never raised my voice. Never begged. Never stooped to her level. I just let the truth do the work. She thought she could destroy me and walk away smiling. But in the end, she didn't just lose the house, the money, and her image. She lost the only person who ever truly loved her. It's been 2 years. The house, my house, looks nothing like it used to. The kitchen tiles are new. The walls are lined with reclaimed wood from the old cabin I grew up in. There's a fireplace I built myself, one slow weekend at a time. Out back, I cleared a space and built something I never thought I'd build again, a retreat center. But not the kind she pretended to run. This one's real. We bring in veterans, guys who've seen the worst the world has to offer, and give them a place to breathe, to heal, to get quiet again. Some come for a weekend. Some stay longer. They don't ask me what happened. They can see it in my eyes. And I don't tell them the story unless they ask. Because it's not who I am anymore. It's just something I lived through. Like a storm that passed. I still get the occasional email from her lawyer. Some plea about revisiting the settlement. I never respond. She moved to Florida, last I heard. Tried to start a coaching business, but it didn't stick. People can smell the fraud now, even through a screen. I don't hate her. I don't think about her much at all. You see, the real revenge wasn't in the courtroom. It wasn't in the bank account. It was in the silence, in the nothingness that followed. She lost access to me, and there is no dollar amount in this world that can buy that back. Sometimes, people ask me if I'll ever trust again, if I'll ever fall in love again. I tell them, maybe, one day. But right now, I love my quiet mornings. I love splitting wood. I love hearing boots on gravel as someone new steps into the lodge, eyes heavy with the weight of their own past, knowing this place might help them too. Because pain, when it's used right, becomes power. I never got my inheritance back. Not all of it, anyway. But I got something better. I got clarity. I got strength I didn't know I had. And I found a version of myself I thought was lost in the fire. She stole my inheritance, but not my peace. She walked away with the money, but I walked away with my soul intact.